Chloe, are you ready?
I'm ready.
David, are you ready?
Ready.
Natasha, are you ready?
Ready.
All right. I like that brief delay because we're going to keep that in because we're going to keep it real here because we are back with another episode of I Said All That to Say. We are live here in the Elevation Global Media Group studios this afternoon, and we are here to bring you everything that we want to say. We're going to throw our segment right over to our girl, Natasha, who's coming to us live from the ATL.
ATL. Hey, everyone. Hey, everyone. So I want to lead with a question for you guys. And if anyone else would like to comment, please like, comment, share, and also tell us how you feel about this because we want to get everyone involved. So I have one question for you guys. If you could change one thing about your life and your priorities, what would it be? Now, it's not to criticize, it's just something that you could do to help with growth within your life. So I'm gonna start off with my ladies first and go with my girl Chloe and see if you could change one thing in your life or improve without judgment on your own life in your priorities, what would it be?
I think I would take on less. Because I tend to take on a lot of things to fill my day, to fill my time up. And sometimes I feel like I do that just to feel busy or to feel like sometimes I might be insecurity, feel important, or feel like I'm just doing things. And so right now I am doing this podcast. I am working full time. I'm getting a cert. I'm about to start another cert. And I'm also trying to work out in the gym, get all fit. And then I'm about to transition back into the office. So I think for me, it would be taking on less and then organizing more of the schedule that I already have. Again, because I tend to take on a lot of things. And another thing is also trying to start my side business with all of that all mixed together. So that's something that I really need to focus in on and realize that just because you have a lot going on, that doesn't have anything to do with your value or importance. And so that's something that I definitely need to work on.
Well, I'm going to give some tips and tricks that have worked for me with just prioritizing. So it's not necessarily taking on less, but it's more like prioritizing your day or your week so that you can still do those things because those things that you do need you. And so there. I have some tips and tricks that I'll talk about later. So how about you, David?
You know, as Chloe was talking, one of the things that triggered in my mind was I really would like to incorporate more travel and even locally and more domestic and international travel. And I tell you why, just to see other things that would add to my creative space. Because sometimes I'm so into work and different things that I don't give myself breaks to actually see different scenery that add to, you know, that creative space and product that I'm trying to put out in my writings and different things that I'm doing.
Yeah, that's some good stuff. That's some good stuff. I know we all love, well, most of us, we all love to travel. And I know that's something I want to make more time for myself. And Thomas, how about you? What if you could change anything about your priorities, not to have any type of criticizing yourself, but more for growth? What would it be?
I would say I would have become the lead actor in my own show a lot faster than I did. Meaning that I wasn't always present in life and kind of, just some things just kind of, did just to be doing or whatever. I would have taken a lot more active role in my own life like I am now. There are things that I used to feed into and used to chase people and chase people's acceptance and all that other stuff. I'm the star of this show. For me, I'm my star.
Yeah.
So if you, even down to the people that you deal with, that you allow in your life, if people aren't calling you, you shouldn't be calling them.
Yeah.
If they can't find value in you, you shouldn't be trying to pursue value in them.
Yeah.
And taking on things that were going to truly be better for my own self-development. And that's one thing that I feel like it took me a little longer than I wanted to work on me.
Okay. So I think that those are all good things. And I think the biggest thing with all of that is creating that, making yourself a priority. which goes into my segment for today. So, as you guys know from before, I'm creating this movement, and it's this base movement to believe, attract, create, and educate. And with all of those things, I try to apply that mantra to every part of my life. And what I've been working on, just naturally, to give you some background, I've always been that go-to person for my friends or coworkers or people that have, that have been in my space, and giving good advice and tips and tricks. So I thought that creating a movement would actually help people. Also, being a wife, God-fearing first, a wife, a mother, and an entrepreneur, you have to know how to, balance it all. So before I spoke about balance, and I want to give some more tips and tricks and get you guys to weigh in on how you actually apply those things into your life. So I think one of the most important things is staying ahead of the game. So what that looks like for me is saying, okay, I know I have A, B, C, D, and E. I look at it now like, oh my goodness, it's almost the end of the year. And I know that sounds crazy to people, but at the beginning of the year, I tried my best to create a calendar so that I can see okay, when can I plan trips? When can I do this? When can I do that? For my husband, that's a bit much for him. I have to, baby step with him and, go week by week. But for me, I'm I try to be, 52 weeks out so that I can really, really make the most of my time. And then when things come up, then I can just sort of pick up where I left off. So Thomas, how do you stay ahead of the game?
Being organized is definitely one of the things that I've had to do in order to stay ahead of the curve. Because if you're not organized, or you don't have people around you to help you be organized, you can get lost real quick. I mean, losing documentation or losing a calendar, setting the wrong date sometime with all the things that everyone has going on, it could mess up everything. So, I mean, I know for yourself, all the things that you got going on, because you said you wear a lot of different hats. You got to be organized. So being organized is a big thing for me.
But what does that look like for you? What's your thing? Like I spoke about earlier, my thing are the sticky tabs. What's your thing that you can't live without to stay ahead of the game?
Oh, that would definitely be the calendar. Me and my wife have a calendar that we share. And so we're already, like you said, you're ahead a couple of months. You're already at the end of the year. We're already in June. And because we do that, as well as pastor a church, we got this on the church calendar, and it has to mirror our personal calendar. So it's we got these many days, we're doing this, we got people in place for this. That calendar is key. And
so do you guys have do you have a calendar that's on Google Calendar, or do you write it down? What would you
we do both. We got a Google Calendar, and we got a physical calendar that mirror each other, because sometimes you got to see it. And and if I don't, and we've moved her over to an iPhone so that we can send stuff to each other, and it's seamless. So all of my calendar events she has, and I have all of her calendar events. So if she's got a speaking engagement somewhere, then I need to make sure that I'm available in order to be with the kids, or if I need to drop them off because we got a podcast taping, we got able to do that. So without that calendar and being able to share information on the fly, or when we go into the house physically see it, because we have a chalkboard that's in the kitchen. We even got dinners planned out for next week, everything. So everything has to be planned through our calendar.
You guys are really organized. David, how do you stay ahead of the game? What do you do to stay ahead of the game?
I'm similar. I use my, by the way, Android phone with a great calendar system.
Okay.
I keep everything on my calendar, right? And also, when I set a task on my calendar, I set a reminder, for instance, when it should notify me an hour ahead of a meeting, 2 hours ahead. And this is the key for me. And also, doing things in real time. That procrastination that we can sometimes fall into. I try to deal with things right away. If there's something I can do, I get a call in, I respond right away instead of saying I'm going to do it tomorrow. So it piles up then. I found that really helps me out, Natasha, to stay on top of my game, is not to delay, do it right away is my motto.
Okay, do it right away. Fast feedback. I've learned that just in working relationships always give fast feedback. So I think applying that means a lot. And what about you, Chloe?
I have two new things that I added to help me out. As I've shared before, I'm supposed to be transitioning back into the office soon. I've been teleworking for 2 years straight out of my home. I'm kind of sad to leave. But the two things I do is one, I started using a food service. It's called HelloFresh because I have a lot of things that I'm doing, and I do love cooking, but sometimes to think of what I'm gonna cook this week for myself and going to the grocery store, that has taken some time away that I can give back to myself because I have so many things I need to do. So that kind of puts me ahead of the game with my schedule and helps me save time. And then it's an app that I added to my phone. I think it's called a To-Do app, something along those lines. And so it sets different focus modes so that it sets different focus modes, and it also allows you to create tasks. So you can set a focus mode for those tasks. So you can set like a 25-minute timer, an hour timer, and then it will roll into a 5-minute break. So I do that. So if I'm at work or if I'm doing homework, I put it on. I just focus for those 25 minutes, and then I take my 5-minute break and I go back in. Because so many times, especially working from home, you can get sidetracked. Like, oh, I need to scroll through TikTok, or oh, I'm on Instagram, or oh, what's going on in the news? And so focusing in on my work and then adding that food service has definitely helped me with my schedule and helped me be ahead of the game.
That's the
good.
second point. I'm so glad you said that, because my second point is letting go of the need to be, and in our case, Martha or Marvin Stewart, because I don't want to leave you guys out. So letting go of having to be either that Martha or Marvin Stewart, and realizing that you cannot, like, it's almost impossible to think that you can do it all, even with help. It's certain things you have to pull back from. So if it is ordering food or deciding, like, I would fight with myself so much because it's like, okay, we're eating out tonight, but I might be creating a whole lesson plan, in the evening, or deciding that this is my free time to just sit and, enjoy my husband. And I really don't want to, sacrifice that,
Not at all.
Being that, letting go of those certain things, even honestly, I never thought that I would, I'm not gonna say never thought, but I thought I would have to be at a certain status to say I have someone come and clean the house every other Tuesday. I will drop my clothes off to get laundered and pay a fee for it, which normally I probably wouldn't think I had. But when you're prioritizing, you make that work.
Right.
And then also I choose like 2 to 3 nights a week that we eat out, and it's healthy food, but we decide to eat out. So how do you guys incorporate that, or just not take that on? Because it's, especially as a woman, I think also having a man that feels like I don't need you to take that on. Like, I don't have to come home and have, why daddy don't have the biggest piece of chicken? Like, I don't have to come home and have that, as long as we eat, as long as we get the job done. So I want to ask Thomas first, like, how do you guys balance it? Like, does your wife cook every night, or do you guys, like, how do you not fall into that Marvin and Martha Stewart?
I am proud to say that my wife does not cook at all.
Okay.
The thing is that,
All
right, chef.
well, with my job and the fact that I'm home, it has allowed me the ability to be able to do it. So because we plan everything out, so when we go to Costco, it's like, okay, cool. If I'm going to buy this 6-pack of ground turkey, okay, I need to know 1 week we're going to do spaghetti. The next week we might do chili. Then we might go back to spaghetti, and we might go to something different. If I can go ahead and interchange these in between, where I'm only cooking maybe say 4 times out of the week, and I made meals large enough to stretch 2 and 3 days, then I'm good. And so we got that stuff planned out. She don't have to come in the kitchen. She don't have to wash a dish. She don't have to do any of that. What that has allowed is to be able to free her mind up because of how much she's working. So now, instead of having to be worried about food or anything like that, she can take my place and help the kids with the homework that she has. So that way, at the end of the day, food's done. The lunches are packed for kids, which isn't much. And we've created a process that works for us, which then allows her to have her mind clear so that then we can actually focus on each other.
But did you guys always have that process? So did this process, was it birthed out of like confusion, or was it birthed out of like, this is right, let's sit down at the table, this is what we're gonna
it was
do?
birthed out of desperation, Natasha, to be for
Yeah.
real.
Like,
Because,
we're hungry.
because
We
you know what
gonna eat.
happened? It was before the pandemic, and we both
Yeah.
came home thinking the other person was taking care of something,
Mm.
and we got there like, okay,
Right.
so what you gonna do? But no, somebody had to take some. So when the pandemic came and stuff just made sense, it's like, no, I got it. And we have to be
Yeah.
willing to take these, to make these small sacrifices in order to make our families run better. So that was
Yes.
the one that we took, and it's been working out. I love it.
Yeah,
That's
that
good.
reminds me. So my husband always says, "Mommy takes care of us," talking about me, and he was like, "And we take care of everything else," which is like the dog, the trash, and
Mhm.
things like that. But in taking care of the family is creating that structure that whoever turn it is, there's no like gender role. So my
Thank you.
husband loves to
Yes.
cook as well,
Yes.
and then we just sort of like balance it out. He makes the best pancakes we call poppy cakes, and then there's certain things that I have that I love, that I love to cook. And then we love to go out and try new restaurants. The great thing about here in Atlanta is you can always try something new.
Yep.
So we try to stay like ahead doing, saying that, all right, this is how we're going to prioritize our time and not feel like we got to be like Sally or, Sam Homemaker. So what about you? How do you feel about it, Thomas? Like, how do you do that and sort of stay out of that, those characteristics of feeling
Oh,
like you have to do it all?
well, you
I mean,
know.
I'm sorry, David. David,
Oh,
I'm
okay.
sorry.
No, go ahead,
Mhm.
David.
Oh, yeah. You know what? For me, it's I like what you just said, Natasha, about there being no gender specific roles.
Yes.
And when I was doing my marriage before my wife passed, this is something that carries on now. So I have a daughter that just graduated from undergrad and one that's in grad school. We whatever needs to be done, because I love to cook, and so I believe in everybody doing whatever it requires. I mean, from laundry, cooking, cleaning, and having the flexibility that I have sometimes with being able to work from home. I'm able to start a meal early. And then here's the other thing. We've never had the burden of coming in feeling like we had to have mashed potatoes and steak every night, those heavy meals, because during the week we like to stay light. And, Sunday's a big day for a meal. Other than that, we kind of manage it during the week. So that's kind of how we've done to keep things under control. And also for me, again, I go back to whatever needs to be done. No gender specific jobs in the house. And I tell my daughters this, a man should know how to cook, clean, do it all. So that way nobody's looking at them or nobody's looking at one person to put that burden on, because that's what makes marriages and relationships strain when, everybody's working. Then you come home looking at somebody else like, hey, when you gonna cook? No. Yeah.
Well, I like what I love that you said is that for you, Sundays bring it all together. So no matter what the week looks like, at least on Sundays, you guys come together. And I think that that's something we used to do when I was younger. And I love when families do that. And what about you, Chloe? How do you sort of stay out of that Martha Stewart, I have to do it all, that type of thing?
Well, when it comes to my relationship, I love cooking for my boyfriend. And I love when he eats my food. I just get really excited. I don't know why, but I just get so happy when he loves eating my cooking. But so kind of what David was saying, I like the point where you said that men should be able to do it all. And so I feel as though my boyfriend can do it all. So he lives at his house. I live at my house. But sometimes we'll eat meals together. And to alleviate the stress, so I'm not always cooking, he'll cook sometimes. Sometimes he'll cook steak. Sometimes he'll cook chicken. Like, he really knows how to cook. And so that helps us out a lot, because I don't always feel like, okay, I'm cooking all the time, or we always have to go out and spend a whole bunch of money, because that can be a lot if you're eating out during the week. And so that's kind of how I keep that balance, is I cook sometimes and then he cooks sometimes. And the other sweet part of that is I like putting dishes in the dishwasher, but I hate cleaning dishes. Like, I'm just really girly and I don't like getting my hands dirty. And if there's like food in it's just so gross to me. And so since he knows that if I'm cooking, he will like he'll put it in the dishwasher and clean it. He said to me the other day, he was just like, I know that you don't really like doing that, so I'll do it for you. And so that kind of alleviates stress too. So
But
yeah,
have you
that's-
got okay? So with date, so I'm glad that you're like in that dating mode. So
Mhm.
with dating, have you ever felt like, or have you guys ever had that conversation? Like, gender specific role, like, you know, a woman has to do this or a woman, you know, did you guys ever go through
Um,
that, or it just sort of naturally happened where you're both sharing responsibility?
I feel like it just kind of naturally happened.
Yeah.
That and also he already knew how to do a lot of those things, and he's actually a very clean person, so he doesn't mind cleaning. And he knows how to cook.
Right.
That's a
Right.
plus.
And so it worked out really well, and I'm glad it did because I came from a household where my dad always did both, and so I feel as though the person that I not that the person that I date has to be like my dad, but I've seen that growing up. Well, my dad, he'll literally be in a suit and come home and throw his tie when I was younger over his shoulder and just start getting in the kitchen and start cooking spaghetti or whatever if my mom is tired or something. So I've come from that type of background, so I appreciate that my boyfriend has the same mindset.
My dad did the same thing. So
Yeah.
he was the cook of the family. My mom is the one that will sit and talk to you and entertain, make sure you're good and you're feeling good about life. But while all the while, my dad is like making sure dinner is made, you know, and all those things.
Yeah.
So that sentiment, I understand. So I've said all that to say, don't put a lot of pressure on yourself, man or woman.
Yeah.
Use whoever is around you, whether it's the kids, the dog, the bird, whoever, to get the job done. Don't feel like you have to, you know, just be, oh, I have to have this a certain way, because that's not realistic. It's really not. Being realistic is really being honest about your reality and about yourself. So I'm going to turn it over to David and see what he's going to bring us today.
All right, Natasha. Well, one thing I want to talk about is, you know, we were talking about responsibilities and roles within the family, within the household. And I want to talk about a book that I'm currently writing. I finished half of it, and the rest is going to come out this year under D. Bonham Ministries.
Say that again, sir.
Yes, sir. Writing a book is going to be a journal. And
A
it's
pastor and an author.
yes,
Okay.
putting the pen to the paper, well, computer basically, but
Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Elevation Global Media Group on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. Thank you for watching.